In this video, we will discuss what we mean by instances, fields, and methods. Assume that we have a new studio that we want to write a program to calculate its overall area. We can think of the room to be approximately formed of a set of rectangles with different dimensions. To represent this studio, we have to create a rectangle object for each of the spaces. This means we have to create a rectangle object for the bedroom, one for the kitchen, and another for the den. Let's visualize how this will look like in memory. First, I use the new keyword and create 3 rectangle objects for the 3 spaces. The first line will create a rectangle object that is referenced by the reference variable bedroom. We say that this object is an instance of the rectangle class and it has the 2 fields, length and width, set to zeros, and it also has the 4 methods. Similarly, the den will point to another object, and so will the kitchen reference variables. So all of these objects are instances of the rectangle class, and we say that each one has its own instance fields and instance methods. To do that, we will have to use the setLength method. However, which setLength method should we use? The answer is that you use the instance method setLength that belongs to each instance. For example, if I want to set the bedroom's length, I have to call the instance setLength method that belongs to the bedroom. I do that by calling bedroom.setLength and then pass the argument. What will happen is that the setLength method that belongs to the instance of the rectangle class, referenced by the bedroom reference variable, will be called and set the length to 4.5. Similarly, I can call the den instance method setLength to set the den's length to 2. Once you set the length and width of each of these objects, you can call the getArea method that we defined before and calculate the total area of the studio. This is what we will do in the following coding demo. In this demo, I'm going to create 3 instances of the rectangle class, and then I'm going to use these instances to calculate the overall area, assuming that these 3 different rectangles represent 3 different areas of a studio. So the first thing is that we have the rectangle class, which we already represented before, we created before. It has the 2 fields, length and width, and then we have the getArea, which returns the length multiplied by the width. So what we want to do next is that we want to create these instances. What I'm going to do is that I will show you two things. The first is a simple representation in which we are going to create, for example, here rectangle. Bedroom is equal to new rectangle, and then I'm going to repeat that rectangle. Den is equal to new rectangle. So here I'm creating the 3 instances using the new keyword. All right, kitchen is equal to new rectangle. So this will create 3 instances of the rectangle class in the memory. What I can do next is that I can go and say, all right, so here I'm going to set bedroom dimensions, and then I will say bedroom dot set length to be, for example, 5, and set width to be, let's say, 5.5. All right. So we are getting an error, cannot find symbol method set length. Oh, so here, because I have a typo, which should be set. So that's why it cannot find the length. And this is a very I'm glad I did this mistake. This is a very common mistake. Sometimes when you read it, you just don't see the typo, and you know that you have set length and set width, but then once you find this, that's how to fix it. All right, so I will repeat this process for the 2 other areas. So here I'm going to set the let's say the den, and then here's den, which will be, let's say 3, all right, or 2.5, and here let's make it 2, and here let's make this 3. All right, and that's for the then. Now what I'm doing here is that I'm calling the instance methods for each of these instances to set its instance fields, right? So when I say, for example, here set length from the kitchen, all right, for the kitchen instance, what I'm basically doing here is that I'm saying go call the set length method that belongs to the instance kitchen to set the length that belongs to the instance kitchen. Does that make sense? So you are setting the instance fields using the instance methods. All right, so that's 2.5, and then let's keep the width to be 3. So that works, it's compiling, right? And then what can I do is that, what I can do here is that I can go and say calculate overall area by saying, for example, here double area is equal to, again, I'm going to call the instance methods, which is bedroom dot get area plus bedroom, then dot get area plus kitchen dot get area. All right, and then I can say, for example, here system dot out dot print line, and just print a nice message here that says the total area of the rooms is, and then give it space and then print area. All right, and in this case that should work. All right, so let's see. To keep things simple, we could actually keep these as integers for now, so we know that this is here, for example, 25, right, plus 6 plus 6, so this makes it 37. So in this case, let's calculate, and that's a 37. All right, so this is how we would do this. Now you could do something more interesting, like to practice what we have done before. So let's, for example, here import java dot util dot scanner. Scanner class is imported, and then we can create here a scanner. Let's call it keyboard kb is equal to new scanner, which I'm going to link to system.n. All right, and what I'm going to do is to declare or to instantiate these 3 objects, and then I am going to prompt the user for multiple inputs. All right, so here let me declare this here. Let's say this is area, and let's, to keep things neat and simple, put all of the declarations at the top, so this way you do not get confused. All right, so what I'm going to do is that instead of hard coding these values with these literals, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ask or prompt the user for inputs. All right, so I'm going to prompt the user for the dimensions of these areas. So here, let's change this to be get from the user. All right, and for example, get and store. Get from the user the bedroom dimensions. All right, so here I can, for example, print system dot out dot print line and prompt the user for what is the bedroom's length, for example, question mark. All right, now to keep the answer neat on the same line, I'm just going to give him a space here and just say now bedroom, right, that set length, and I'm going to say, okay, I would like to store this value somewhere first, so I'm going to declare another variable here called number, and then I would say number is equal to kb dot next double, right? So this way I'm prompting the user for the bedroom length. I take the value from the user's keyboard, set it in number, and then go set the length to be number, right? Then I can repeat this whole process for the width. So I could say, what is the width in this case? and then I go and say store this in number again, and that's fine. I will overwrite number. Number is just a temporary placeholder for or value holder for the values I'm reading from the user. But the difference here is that I need to go and set the width this time. All right, so that this way I got the values for the bedroom length and width, and then I set the length and width for the bedroom. So I can repeat this whole process for the den, but I have to be very careful. You need to replace anything that says bedroom at this point, right? So here that should be the instance instance method of the den. Here is den, and this also will be den. All right, and then repeat the whole thing for the kitchen. Okay, so I repeat this for the kitchen. So I can go and say, for example, here, this is a kitchen, kitchen, and kitchen. All right, compile, it compiles. Let's run it. All right, so what is the bedroom's length? Let's say 5. What's the width? Let's say 5. What's the length for the den? Let's say 3 and 2 for the width, and here 2 and 3, and we get the 37. So this way you have a complete code that prompts the user for values, stores the values, and then it sets the fields and calculate the area properly. All right, notice here that I combined the area and the number in the single declaration, right? Declaring that both of them are going to be double. And then I use the next double to read double. And then towards the end, I calculate the area. And the reason why I declared area to be double is because here, area is the length times the width. Both of them are double. So I'm expecting the output to be double, right? So in this case, I use double for all of them. So that's a more user-friendly program that prompts the user and very flexible, which is very nice. Make sure to import your scanner to use the scanner.